Um, I don't know how or why I'm doing this, but I know that after you talk for a while or write for a while that how you really feel kind of starts to come out. And because I don't really know how to feel right now, I'm basically going to be saying stuff kind of going on different topics. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I'm just gonna be going off on stuff. I know you're not supposed to talk bad about yourself and you're not supposed to bring yourself down and you're supposed to love yourself, but when you've gone through shit and you've had to look at yourself, like when you go from being skinny to fat to not as skinny as you were but you're not fat anymore, you look at yourself differently. You were like, I was skinny when it didn't matter, like when no one cared and it wasn't important, you know? And then once looks started being important, I was fat. And people tell me, oh, you weren't fat, or you can't call yourself fat because you weren't like 400 pounds. But I was. I was about 200 pounds, and I still technically am overweight, even though BMI is bullshit. I know that I gained all that weight because of the medications I was on. It wasn't necessarily my fault. But I know that after a while, I just kind of gave up because I wasn't going to be able to lose it, because no matter how hard I tried, I just kept gaining. Grand total was I gained a little bit over 30 pounds in about 3 months. At the time, I didn't realize why I was like that. I just kind of, at that time, I was just kind of like, you know, this is just me now, and no matter how much I exercised, I used to go on walks until it became dangerous because of where I lived. But I used to eat healthier. I used to portion my foods. I used to try to live a healthy lifestyle, as healthy as I could. But after doing it for weeks on end, all I was doing was gaining weight, so I just kind of gave up on it, you know? I didn't think about it being my medicine at the time. I didn't think about it being something other than that. I always thought it was because I used to eat when I was bored and because I was so stressed that it was just putting on all that weight, but it wasn't. It was just my medication. Now, when I went to the hospital back in March, so almost a year ago, I weighed, I believe it was like 180, I believe, which was my highest weight, when the lowest weight I've ever been, like, right before I gained a bunch of weight, was about 120, and then I was at 180 a couple months later. I didn't notice really anything. Like, I just kind of figured it was me. I knew that I had gotten bigger, but me walking around in my life, I didn't really notice anything. You know, I was extra large. Like, I was a size H for my bras. My shirts were extra large. My pants would usually be extra large, and if they were jeans, it would be about size 17, or size 13, depending on the brand. So I knew that they were bigger numbers because all my friends were like zeros, ones, twos, you know, C cups at the biggest, you know, and I would always compare myself to them because even though I loved my friends, they would always say stuff like, after they would eat food, they're like, oh, I'm so fat, or oh, I look pregnant, but like, imagine me actually being like bigger and then eating food, like, and me just getting more big. Like, I always acted like I didn't care, but I did. Sometimes I got used to it. Sometimes I would just kind of forget about it and just kind of act like I was, okay, act like I was feeling myself and that I liked the way I looked. But in hindsight, overall, I didn't. They were glory moments in my time. It was like, for some reason, whatever it was that day, whether I was just having a good day or I really liked my outfit, I would like the way that I looked for a very, very short amount of time. And then usually, like, if it was like during school, I would hate the way that I looked in the outfit, and when I came home I'd rip it off and then put on baggy clothes because I didn't want to look at myself like that anymore. Because me being who I am, I'm a person who likes tight dresses, I like tight pants, I like tight shirts, I like crop tops, like, but because of the body type that I had, my boobs were basically my entire torso. Crop tops were basically like, I still wore them, but the amount of criticism I got was enormous. If I were to wear leggings with a crop top or like high-waisted jeans with a crop top, I would always have like the bubble in my stomach because the only body fat that, one, I still have now and that I used to have was mainly hormonal fat in my lower stomach. Now, when I went to the hospital and I was about 180, like around there, it might have been 190, I don't know, it was anywhere, it was between 180 and 200, something around there. I didn't notice anything until we had done like the spinal taps and everything, and we found out that I had IH, which is idiopathic intracranial hypertension, and and they told me that basically that's a bunch of buildup of fluid around your brain and spinal cord, caused by being overweight, which was in turn what they believed. They said that they couldn't like 100% say this was why, but that it was what like caused the blood flow to get cut off to my eye, and that my medication was the thing causing the weight gain. Because they said that sometimes that just happens. It was mainly my birth control that was doing it, which is interesting because when I had gone to Tech High, there was one girl that I had talked to in my program there who was on the same exact birth control that I was, who had gained a bunch of weight from it too. So we kind of talked about that, and like that was kind of an eye-opening moment to me because I had already started losing weight at that time, because obviously that was back in September. That was like 3-4 months ago, whatever. And it was like I didn't feel as alone with it because I have tons of friends who are on birth control, and I never like once thought that it was because of my birth control, and I always thought that it was something that it was only me going through, because no one else that I knew that was on birth control had that problem. And then whenever I found her and we were talking about it, I didn't feel quite as alone, because through all this, like, I felt very alone in the fact that all my friends were skinny, all my friends were happy all the time, and like I acted happy all the time, but like in fact, like, I did not feel good about myself. There was not one point where I genuinely felt good. I think I had moments where I felt okay enough to think that I felt good, but there was not a time where I was like genuinely not like, there wasn't a time where I genuinely like was okay. Like, usually it was, you feel okay in this moment, but just make sure that this is like hidden, like just like you feel good at like right now, so let's take a picture, but make sure you suck in your stomach, like stuff like that. Like, and the more that I've kind of gone past it, the more it's kind of affected me. Because then I was 16, but now it's almost a year later, and I've lost, I think, because I'm in the 140s now, so it's about 50 pounds now that I've lost. So even though I've lost all that weight, I went from an H cup to a D, which I think I might be a C now. And I went from a size 17 in jeans to a size 4, and I went from extra large tops to smalls or mediums, and extra large bottoms to smalls or mediums, usually smalls, which kind of sucks because I have long legs, you know, but like leggings are really hard to find because they need to be tight, but also like I have long legs, so it's kind of awkward sizing, but that's besides the point. But I look back at pictures of myself and I look at them and I'm like, why did no one tell me, you know? No one ever pointed it out to me. No one ever said anything. Everyone always told me, you look fine, you know? But whenever I look back at those pictures of me in the hospital, it's like, whenever I look back at them, it's just kind of like, you know, I kind of can't look at it because I didn't ever realize that I looked like that, because whenever I was at that weight, it was just me, you know, like it was how I looked, so I kind of had to accept it even though I knew I didn't like it. But when I look at how I am now and I put on old clothes that I used to wear all the time, you know, like whenever I was bigger and they don't fit at all, like I could fit another me, like maybe depending on what it is, sometimes 2 more me's in it. It's hard to look at because I used to look like that, you know? And like my face used to be a lot rounder. That was something that really scares me, is that my face was just like, it was basically a sphere, like, you know? And I have my glasses that I still have now, you know, and they just, then they didn't look good on my face just because of the shape of my face, but like, I had so much fat around my chin, which I still have some of it now, but like, my face was so blown out, like it was all the way out here, like it was just, my face, like my actual features on my face were so small compared to the rest of my face. And it's interesting now because something that I noticed a lot is that with Androids, so like my mom's phone or my boyfriend's phone, like I look different and I don't know why. To me, I look bigger, and that's why I like iPhones, which is weird because they don't really do that. I don't want to know which one is correct, you know, like I don't want to know which one is more accurate, because if I look at the iPhone and I think that one's super, like that one's more correct, I'll be like, oh great, you know, like I've lost a bunch of weight, but then I get insecure about it. And then if I like think that the Android is correct, then I'm like, oh great, I still look like that, you know? Because so many people tell me all the time, they're like, oh yeah, congratulations on losing all the weight, you know, you look so good, which is weird to me because these are the same people that told me that I looked like amazing whenever I was bigger, and I'm like, kind of like, which one is it, you know? And I've kind of convinced myself that every time I look in the mirror that I'm still that person, you know? I'm still the same person that I was when I was bigger, but I look a lot different. I feel a lot different. Yes, I'm happy that I'm healthier, but this is gonna be the hard thing for me to talk about because I don't know if I'm gonna post this or not. I want to, but I don't know, because only a select few of people in my life know about this. But I don't know if I'll feel better talking about it because I also kind of want to, because like I had talked about before with everything, with how like the one girl, when I found out that she had gained a bunch of weight from the same birth control that I was on, how I didn't feel quite alone. I really want to post this because in case anyone else who is technically like who is told that they're skinny and is skinny but still feels bigger, or someone who has lost weight and looks amazing now but still feels like, and still sees that person. I want them to see this, because I think it's important that people know that you're not by yourself with this, you're not alone with it, because you can try, like, I try to explain stuff like this to people in my life, but unless you go through it, you can't really understand. I always, whenever my friends have problems, I always, like, try to give them my best advice and talk about situations and how they've made me feel, but the thing is, and, like, I try to connect them, but the thing is, you can never really understand what a person is going through, because even if you go through the same exact thing to a T, you are not that person and you do not have their emotions. Like, you cannot physically say, I know exactly how you feel, because you don't. Because sadness can feel different to every person. Anger can feel different to every person. Happiness can feel different to every person. So you can't, you can understand, like, you can understand why a person feels a certain way, and you can try to, like, relate it to how you feel and how you felt in your, like, if someone is talking about something that's going on and how it makes them feel really sad, you can try to think of something that made you super sad, but, like, so you understand that, what they're going through is making them upset, but you can never understand how that person themselves feels, and it's, like, it's kind of lonely when you think about it, but, I keep distracting myself because I keep trying to avoid talking about it. I just need to say it. Because of all my issues with my weight and how, yes, I've lost a lot of weight, a lot, and I'm so thankful that I have it. I'm so thankful for everyone who has helped me, and I'm so thankful that I'm healthy. But I don't, even though I can see the difference, I also can't. But I am now so afraid of gaining weight, because I'm so afraid that something is going to happen and I am going to completely spiral off again like I did before. And a lot of people that I'm close with in my life tell me, they're not going to let me get to that point. They're not going to let it happen again. They would stop it. But the thing is, they couldn't stop it the first time. So, and one of my problems that I have is that whenever, like every other person, and this has always happened to me, but now it just bothers me, but everyone, after they eat a bunch of food, always gets bloated or their stomach gets bigger, it's a natural thing. It's a thing that the human body does. But now whenever I see it, it reminds me of how I used to look, because even though I know that it's gonna go away, it's very triggering to see that, because I get very scared. So a lot of the time I don't eat. I started noticing that I was eating less and less. It started off because I was just super stressed with school, so I just start eating less, because when you get stressed and sick and everything, you don't eat as much. So I kind of got accustomed to that, and then the more that I kept thinking about it, the more I just kind of started weaning off of food and started eating less food. At the beginning of the year, I went from packing a salad, some sort of bag of chips, a drink, and 1 or 2 cheese sticks, sometimes a fruit cup or a yogurt, depending on how I was feeling, to now I bring a salad and a drink to school for lunch. And sometimes I don't even eat it. Sometimes I'm not hungry to where I don't feel my stomach growling enough. If my stomach isn't hurting when it growls, I don't think I'm hungry. even if it growls a little bit, I'm like, oh, that's just me being thirsty, so I'll drink water. So I don't eat when I need to, and it's to avoid the bloating and looking like how I used to, and I know it's a problem, and people who need to know about it do, and it's something that I'm working on. It's something that I never thought I would have to go through. I thought that once I lost weight that I was going to be fine, that I was going to keep it off, and that it was going to be easy, and that I was finally going to love myself. But the fact of the matter is, no matter how much weight I lose, I'm never going to be happy with myself. I'm never going to wake up every day and be like, you look good today, or you feel great today, or you love yourself. I'm never going to wake up and feel like that. I know there are girls that feel that way about themselves, and honestly, like, good on you, but I will never know how that feels. I will never get to that point. I want to believe that I will, but I don't think I will. Because there's so much damage that went into all this that I never thought would be a thing. And it's very hard to get rid of. And even when you talk to someone, even when you talk to people, like, I've talked to people who have gone through the same thing, and like I was saying before, like, they've gone through almost the exact same situation, and it does not help me, because they claim that they got over it, while I don't think they did. They lie about it, which means that they're not ready to talk about it, and I'm obviously not going to force them to talk about it, because that means they're not ready. Just like I may or may not post this, I don't know if I'm ready for people to know what's actually happening, because like literally like yesterday I got a compliment on how I looked and how I've lost so much weight and how great I look. And it's like, the more compliments I get on how I look, the more it kind of feeds it. You know, the more it kind of drives the behavior, I guess you would call it, that I have of just like limiting my food. No, I'm not completely starving myself, but I don't eat as much as I should. I'm lucky enough to have an amazing boyfriend and an amazing mom and some amazing, like, two amazing best friends in my life that make sure that whenever I'm with them that I eat. But there have been times where I've eaten in front of some of them, one of them, or I've been on the phone with one of them, and I would literally sit at my food and I would stare at it and I would throw up because I can't eat it. Yes, you'll see me eat at times, but that's only when I haven't had food in a while. I will lie about when I eat food. I will lie about it. I will lie straight to your face. It doesn't matter who you are. Because to me, this is the ultimate shame, because I know I'm better than this, and I feel like I've let so many people down, and I've been such like an inspiration to so many people. So many people have talked to me, asked me what I've done and like how I'm able to do this, and they are so impressed with how I look, but I'm a liar. I lie about how I do it. At first it was healthy. Like at first when I started doing it, it was healthy. But then it wasn't, because once I started losing the weight, I couldn't stop. And I basically got addicted to losing the weight, and I was doing basically anything that I could to keep it off. So I want to thank everyone who has complimented me because I know that you guys mean well, because obviously how are any of you supposed to know what this is about? You're not, like, you guys don't know anything. You only know what I've told you, which is how much I've lost and that I'm finally healthy, you know? You don't know the darker side of it. So it's not your fault, and I don't want the people, if any of the people who have complimented me who see this, don't feel bad because you didn't know. You can't blame yourself for saying something if you didn't have all the information. So know that I'm not mad at you, and I'm not like upset with anyone who's complimented me, because I know that you guys just didn't know, you know. I don't know what else to say, because this isn't like a, oh, but I got through it type video. It's a, I'm working on it. And it's a, I want to figure this out, but I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to do, because in all of this, I've been extremely anxious, like, during this time of me losing all my weight and everything. I've been extremely anxious with things that have just happened in my life and things that have just gone on, so the anxiety doesn't make it better. Like, I believe it was the week of October 17th, because I remember I had missed a full week of school because I was so anxious, because I'd started a new anxiety medication, and it messes you up the first week that you're on it, because it's like adjusting all your levels and all that, so your body kind of gets thrown out of whack and everything. And I missed a week of school because I was so anxious. But the medicine, because of your stomach is sensitive to those receptors that have like the levels, I think it's serotonin, I don't know, it started with a C, I don't know, but the thing that the medication changes in your brain, you also have those receptors in your stomach, so it messes with your stomach. So that week I barely ate anything. I don't think I ate anything more than maybe like half a pack of saltines a day, which is not good because those don't give you anything, but for me it was enough because I was sick, I was throwing up, you know. And the way that I looked in that moment, I loved it, because I had a flat stomach. And whenever I came back to school, everyone complimented me on how good I looked again, and I was just kind of like, you know, if people are complimenting me after I barely eat anything for a week, like, why not keep doing it, you know? So, I want to say thank you to everyone who has complimented me, because I know you meant well. And I'm sorry to anyone who is disappointed in me, because I know there's a lot of people who are gonna be disappointed in me, because that's just how it is, you know. Like, I'm disappointed in myself. It took me forever to tell my mom, because I was afraid she was gonna be disappointed in me, but she was actually very proud of me for telling her. But I think it's important that if anyone wants to message me because they've gone through something similar, I'm okay with talking about it, because if I post this, I'm okay enough to text anyone about it, because knowing that other people are going through what I'm going through is kind of comforting to me. And if some people have gone through it and have gotten better, it's kind of reassuring to me that I'm going to be okay. Because while I want to think I'm going to be okay, I'm also scared that it's not going to happen, because I know that with stuff that has to do with any type of eating disorder and stuff like that, and like body image issues, people tend to relapse with how they look at themselves. And yeah, so I hope that if anyone is struggling, that this kind of helps them think more about what's happening, and kind of, not inspires, because that's not the right word, but it kind of drives someone to kind of assess what's going on and think, you know what, maybe there is a problem. I hope that if anyone is going through this, that they're able to recognize that there's a problem before it gets too bad. Because right now for me, it's not bad. I'm not underweight, and I'm not completely starving myself. I don't plan on getting to that point, but also I didn't plan on feeling like this. You know, I can't exactly say what is gonna happen. Well, I want to think that it's not gonna happen. I don't know. No one knows except for what happens in the future. You know, you kind of just have to go along with it. But I don't think I'll get to that point because I don't think anyone in my life would let me. So, yeah, I feel a little bit better talking about this, and I hope that I'm able to actually post it. I don't want to edit this at all because even though it's 30 minutes, I don't want to edit it at all because I don't think that that would be okay to cut out any parts where I've been emotional, because then it's fake, you know? So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through right now and what's happening with me. I don't really know what else to say, so I hope this maybe helped someone or drive someone to get better, you know? So yeah, that's gonna be the end, I guess. Yeah.